Big breaking news this morning. Manchester United have triggered the release clause for the Aston Villa and Belgian midfielder known as Youri Tielemans. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to centre around this man right here. Youri Tielemans, currently of Aston Villa, and of course has just come off the back of a World Cup campaign with Belgium, of course. He's back in the news, and it is a transfer story he is involved in because in a matter of mere minutes, from a David Ornstein bomber that stated that Manchester United were in advanced talks with both player and club for the signing of Youri Tielemans, it has then been announced by Fabrizio Romano that Manchester United have wasted no time in triggering his release clause, and Youri Tielemans is looking likely to be joining Manchester United this summer following that release clause being triggered. Deal obviously instantly accepted, and it seems as though Manchester United are beefing up their midfield options ahead of the new season, and I'm intrigued by this, I've got to say. Even from the outside looking in, I am actually intrigued by this transfer story, which we will get onto a little bit later on. But before we get into all of that, I would like to remind you all, please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And of course, I encourage each and every single one of you to get involved in the comment section down below. Use and abuse that comment section, people, and talk to me and what you make about this story involving Youri Tielemans to Manchester United. Is it a good move for club? Is it a good move for player? Is it a bad move for club or a bad move for player? Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling about all of that. Your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it on this transfer story will make for great and interesting reading down below in the comment section. So please do get involved down there. And without further ado, we're going to get on with the conversation ourselves. We're talking Youri Tielemans to Manchester United. Like I said, this has really come out of nowhere this morning. This story has really picked up the pace extremely quickly. Like I say, it was released by David Ornstein. He dropped the bomber. He's dropped the exclusive this morning, stating that Manchester United were in advanced talks for Youri Tielemans, and it kind of made sense considering that Man United were looking at midfield options, and you know, Tielemans does fit the bill of being a midfielder. And then, within a matter of minutes, it is then confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, who initially did back up Ornstein's story, but then separately went on to state this. Breaking. Youri Tielemans to Manchester United. Here we go. United activate €41 million release clause into Tielemans' contract at Aston Villa. Verbal agreement also with the Belgian midfielder. Andre Santos done. Tielemans next after Ederson deal called off on Friday, and it makes sense now. Do I think Tielemans and Ederson are the same kind of player? No. So I'd be kind of surprised if maybe United do stop there. I do feel like there may be another midfielder in the pipeline for Manchester United who, let's be real here, people, will need to back up their midfield options and obviously need to beef up their squad because they're not going to be playing one game a week anymore. They're going to be playing two. They're back in the Champions League, so of course it makes sense. And I feel like this is a very good opportunity not to pass up, especially for the £35 million mark. You hit it for £35 million. You get a player that has got a lot of experience, Premier League proven, a very, very good player in my opinion, for Aston Villa over the few years that he's been there. Yeah, I found him even to be really good at Leicester. Like, I didn't think he was perfect, and I don't think he's perfect for Manchester United, but I also do feel like this is the ideal opportunistic signing for Manchester United in terms of both quality and quantity. It provides midfield options. You get, like I say, a very experienced player that can help you gain or solidify yourself into the top 4, top 5 situation for next season again. So you've got a bit of consistency there in terms of achieving your initial goal of getting Champions League football again for the following season. And like I say, provide some midfield options. You can play him in that number 10. You can play him in the number 8. It works both ways. You can drop Bruno Fernandes and bring him in. You can play him alongside Bruno Fernandes. You can play him, like I say, instead of maybe a Kobbie Mainoo, for example. Like there is a ton of options that you can do with this player that I feel is too good of an opportunity to miss. And especially for, like I say, the £35 million mark, it is a very, very sensible, very smart piece of business. Is it a needle mover like what the rumoured Aurelien Tchouameni deal would have been? No, it's not. Tchouameni is much better. Would it have been better to have him over a Bruno Guimaraes? Not in my opinion. Or an Elliot Anderson? No. But for, like I say, quality, quantity, options, experience, the type of player he is, good ball carrier, got a good long shot on him, can pop up with some important goals every now and again, keeps things ticking over. It's a decent move. It is a decent move, and like I say, it's something that I think is very opportunistic, and I'm actually quite surprised that not a lot of other teams have seemingly or rumoured to be involved in this. Manchester United seemingly moving very quickly on this, and especially because, I don't know, maybe the £35 million release clause may not have exactly been, I don't know, maybe it wasn't exactly public information to a lot of people. Because like I say, I think a lot of people should have been more on this. I think a lot more teams should have been more on this than just Manchester United. But it seems United have struck while the iron is hot. They've struck whilst other teams are kind of umming and ahhing about weighing up their options. And I think it is a decent move by Man United. And especially even more opportunistic when you consider that the news obviously yesterday broke that Aston Villa had hijacked the Swiss international known as, sorry, I just want to get his name right. Bear with me just 1 second. Johan Manzambi. I thought it was, and then I kind of doubted myself over whether or not that was how you A, pronounce it, or B, that was his name at all. I just had a really, really self-doubting moment there. But when you consider that Aston Villa have just hijacked that signing from Newcastle, which is a hilarious story in and of itself, because Newcastle once again have lost out on another top target to another team. I think that's hilarious. When you consider that, you know, he comes in, 1 in, 1 out kind of at Aston Villa, as normally the story tends to be, then yes, then it is understandable as to why that maybe this deal has been opportunistically struck by Manchester United, and of course why Aston Villa are very much, I mean, they've got no choice in the matter. It's a release clause at the end of the day, but understandable as to why, you know, this obviously has happened. But like I say, I don't mind. I don't mind this move at all. Even from a rival fan's perspective, like, I'm a Liverpool fan at the end of the day. I obviously want to see this crash and burn and everything. But if I am to be neutral and I am to be completely honest here, it's not a needle mover. It's not one of these moves that, you know, if I was a United fan, would get me out of my seat, would make me extremely excited. But I can sit there and I would go, you know what? Sensible signing, smart signing. £35 million, £41 million release clause, give or take, somewhere around about there. The money aspect is smart, especially when you consider that, you know, the likes of Elliot Anderson's going for 116 to 130 million. Tonali's going for around about 100 million. You know, Mateus Fernandes for 85 million. Alex Scott rumoured to be priced at about 80 million. Getting someone who is experienced as what Tielemans is, for 35 million, I think it is a smart piece of business. And like I say, for the next 2, 3, maybe even 4 years at a push, yeah, I don't necessarily fault it. I don't necessarily fault the business that is being done by Manchester United here. It is not wild. It's not crazy. It's actually pretty sensible, which is something that we've not necessarily associated with Manchester United over the years in terms of their transfer dealings. But like I say, these past couple of transfer windows, or big summer transfer windows, should I say, they've seemingly booked up their ideas, changed their approach, and it does seem to be somewhat got a lot more of a thought process in mind. Whether or not it actually works out or not, obviously only time will tell. But there does seem to be a bit more of a thought out process in terms of these transfers and in terms of obviously getting the players that they need to fill. There are still some players and some positions that obviously need beefing up. They need improving. But of course, that will all come with time. And as I still think they need a proper DM. I still don't think they can get away with a proper DM. Tielemans doesn't necessarily, for me, fit that box as a proper defensive midfielder. And Andre Santos is, the jury's still out a little bit on him. I know that obviously he's not necessarily a player that, for me, would excite me if obviously it turned out like he was signing for Liverpool, for example. He's not someone that I would be, getting off my seat over. But again, maybe for the amount of money that's being spent on that, maybe for the kind of needs that Man United are wanting for their squad, maybe it will turn out to be another smart signing. But this, for me, is more of a clear smart signing for me, in the form of Youri Tielemans. I think it's decent, and that's coming from a Liverpool fan. I don't want it to be decent. I want it to crash and burn. Of course I do, but I can't lie to you people. I've got to be 100% honest. I actually think it's a decent piece of business. So, Tielemans to Manchester United seems to be a go. It's been here we go'd by Fabrizio Romano. And I would expect it to be picking up big. I expect it to be picking up ahead of steam pretty quickly in terms of the release clause being confirmed to have been hit by Man United, the medical to be booked, and then of course the official confirmation very, very quickly. Like I say, especially when you consider that Villa themselves have got a player coming through the door, one in, one out, and obviously with United looking at improving their midfield options, I think it all makes sense. Anyway, these are the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys are thinking and feeling. Let me know in the comment section down below what you make about Youri Tielemans jumping ship to Manchester United in this transfer window. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling about all of that. Your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, I'm sure will make for great and interesting reading on this transfer story, so please do leave them down below. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. As always, I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.